Whenever we think of an airplane, we think of huge engines, big wings, or a cockpit full of modern technology. But very few people pay attention to an important place, the wheels of the airplane. However, during the most important moment of the entire flight, i.e. landing, the greatest pressure falls on these wheels. A passenger plane can land at a speed of more than 250 kilometers per hour, and it weighs hundreds of tons. That huge force has to be handled in just a few seconds, and these tires take the first blow on the runway. There is no room for error here. Each wheel is made in such a way that it can withstand heavy weight, intense heat, and sudden changes in speed. These are not just big tires. They are highly tested, protected, and constantly monitored critical components. If there is one thing that cannot fail at the most critical moment of the flight, it is these wheels. And once you understand how these wheels work, you will start to see the airplane with completely new eyes. And this is where a strange question arises. Why is there no air inside these important tires? What actually? Are they full? And why is this done? That is what will surprise you in today's video. The important moments of the aircraft's wheels begin from the time of landing, when the plane touches the ground. In these few seconds, the most difficult test for the aircraft's wheels begins. Before the plane lands on a runway, the wheels are completely still, and the moment it hits the ground, the wheels start rotating at a speed of more than 200 kilometers per hour. And this sudden change creates a lot of friction in the wheels. That is why white smoke is seen during landing. Not only speed, but also huge weight is added to it. When a large passenger plane lands, its weight can be up to 300 to 400 tons, and all that pressure is spread over the landing gear. This pressure comes not only from below, but also from the front. Because the plane has to slow down, these wheels and the entire structure are made in such a way that they can handle this huge shock without bending or losing stability. This part of every flight is like the most difficult test for an airplane. But here's where a question comes to many people's minds. Why don't airplane tires burst despite all that weight and speed? The answer is hidden in its internal structure. Airplane tires are not usually like car tires. They are made completely differently. They have multiple layers of strong, synthetic materials inside, such as industrial nylon and aramid fibers that are very strong. These layers combine together to create a strong structure that does not tear or change shape, even under great pressure. So it is not just thick rubber, it is a perfect example of a kind of engineering. And here comes another important point: the pressure inside the tire. Where a normal car tire can withstand 30 to 35 psi of pressure, a commercial airliner tire has a pressure of about 200 psi. That is about 6 times more than a normal car. Because of this extra pressure, airplane tires are made extremely hard, so that their shape does not change even after such a big shock and weight. Not only that, these tires have to go through various difficult tests, such as high-speed landing simulation, maximum weight-bearing tests, etc. Because landing is not a common occurrence, there is no room for even the slightest mistake here. So extra, safety is taken care of in everything. Then comes another important thing that many people do not know. What is actually filled inside this tire? Many people think that ordinary air is used, like the tires of our bicycles or cars. But in reality, plane wheels are completely different. Actually, airplane tires are filled with dry nitrogen. This is not some fancy technology or marketing. It is for complete safety. Usually, the air that we do not breathe is used in bicycles or cars, which contains oxygen and water vapor. Now think about the wheels getting very hot during braking after landing. In this situation, if there is oxygen and moisture inside the tire, then the risk increases a lot. The internal pressure can suddenly increase and even create the possibility of an explosion. But nitrogen gas is completely different. It is an inert gas. This means that it does not easily cause any chemical reaction. There is no moisture inside it, so there is no possibility of rust or corrosion inside the tire. And the most important thing is that when the temperature increases, it expands, but in a very controlled manner, because there is no water vapor in it. So the pressure change can be predicted. Where temperature and pressure change rapidly, predictability or control is the greatest safety. And that is exactly why nitrogen is used in airplane tires. This is a standard rule in aviation. So far we have understood the matter of power, pressure, and control. But now if we look closely at a large airplane, another big question will come to mind. Why are so many wheels needed? If you look closely at a large airplane like a Boeing 747, you will notice that it has about 18 wheels. And the world's largest cargo plane, the Antonov and 225, had 32 tires. This is not an exaggeration. It is absolutely necessary, because a large plane has to land with a weight of 300 to 400 tons. If this huge weight were to fall on just a few wheels, the pressure on the runway would have increased tremendously, and the risk of structural damage would have increased a lot. So this weight is divided among many wheels, so that the pressure on each tire is reduced and the runway is also protected. Another big advantage is that the stability during landing and braking is much higher. That means not only holding the weight, but also maintaining balance at such high speeds is important. And this is why so many wheels are used. But another question is what happens if a tire suddenly bursts during landing? Actually, such an incident is not very common. But the design of the plane is made in such a way that even if one tire is damaged, it can be landed safely. Because no one will carry the entire weight. It is divided into many wheels. So even if one tire is damaged, the rest can handle the pressure. In addition, airplane tires do not burst suddenly like car tires. They are reinforced in such a way that even if damaged, the pressure gradually decreases, and the entire landing gear remains in place until the plane comes to a complete stop. There have been many incidents where the plane landed safely under complete control despite the tire being damaged. Here, safety depends on planning and backup systems, not luck. These wheels also help an airplane when braking, which happens during landing. Special carbon brakes are used in large passenger planes. They can withstand temperatures of more than 1,000 degrees Celsius. Because stopping hundreds of tons of weight at high speed means handling a huge amount of energy. But brakes alone do not help stop a plane. After landing, the spoilers on the wings open, which reduce lift and bring more weight to the wheels. As a result, the brakes are more effective. At the same time, the engine thrust reverse is also activated. This helps to slow down the plane quickly by pushing the engine power forward. In other words, the entire system is a teamwork. The wheels, brakes, wings, and engine all work together to stop such a large plane safely within a few kilometers. And finally, there is another practical aspect: cost and maintenance. Because such a complex system never needs to be replaced just when it breaks. Here, every part is always kept ready through regular testing, maintenance, and proper planning. So now you can think how much these advanced tires actually cost. Many people may think that they are very expensive, but in reality, the situation is a little different. The price of a tire on a large passenger plane can usually be several $1,000s, which varies depending on the model and company. However, maintenance is more important than its price. Airplane tires are not thrown away once they are used. They are retreaded multiple times. This means that the hard part is kept inside and new rubber is applied on the outside. This reduces the cost a lot. Again, there is no concession in terms of safety. It is not that the tire is replaced only when it is completely worn out. Each tire is repeatedly tested according to specific rules. How many times it has landed, how much friction has occurred, everything is calculated. Airlines keep an eye on each tire. So, the wheels of the airplane, which we ordinary people do not take seriously, are actually one of the most tested and controlled parts of the airplane. They may seem small compared to the entire airplane, but they play a direct role behind every safe landing. Did you know before that airplane tires are filled with nitrogen gas, not air? You can write your opinion in our comment box. If you like today's video, you can like it. You can subscribe to the channel. Then see you in the next new episode. Thank you.